What's going on, guys? It's the Saucy Sock here with another video, and this is kind of an add-on to the last video I uploaded talking about the defensive adjustments that you can make in order to play like the top players in the world. Now, a lot of that stuff was kind of pass heavy. I'm going to kind of focus more on stopping the run in this video, primarily because, for one, a lot of my losses that I've had have came from teams that honestly don't throw the ball. I get into a lot of trouble when I play into the heavy run sets, like anything like I formation, single back, teams that sit in just those heavy run formations and try to gash you on halfback dives and halfback stretches and wide zones and things of that nature. Now, I do think I've gotten to a point where I'm pretty comfortable with at least slowing down teams that can do that. When back in the day, I was just constantly giving up 10 yards, 15 yards, 7 yards, 9 yards per carry. And it's just really, really frustrating. And I'm sure you guys have ran into similar situations yourself. So I'm going to try to teach you guys a couple of things that you can do that really help slow down these runs. Now, keep in mind, like I said in the last video, it's always important to set your depth chart. And primarily, you always want to have, I know I said in the last video that, you want to stay in one defensive set or at least try to. It's not a bad idea to learn a heavier defensive set like a 4-4, a 5-2, a 4-6, just in case you do run into people that are going to be primarily run heavy. Now, I do think that although I said in the last video, in video game football, you can stop, I formation and goal line at a dime. But at the same time, a lot of that too does require you to have a good user. And if you're someone watching this video who doesn't think they have a good user, you're going to have a tough time stopping I formation runs out of dime. Letting your CPU and your 6 DBs try to run fit is not going to be a great recipe for success. So it's always good to learn a additional heavy run defensive set along with your main defensive formation that you want to run. So for this video, I'm going to be using Michigan on offense, and there is a lot of good plays that Michigan has, and forgive me, I think I just called the wrong play, so let's go ahead and redo this. So we're going to call the single back, or we're in the single back wing pair out of the Michigan playbook, and this halfback stretch gave me some problems yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and show y'all what this run looks like. Now, I am in practice mode, so I could try to run this and could get absolutely just stuffed. But as you can see, it blocks really well, right? Like, this is kind of what I run into. And it seems like no matter what I did, this was kind of the result. Sometimes they flip the play on me. I mean, it just gets blocked up super well. So that was happening to me over the course of an entire game yesterday. And I'm telling you guys, this guy was going up and down the field. Like, basically, he was in practice mode, just chilling. So I was sitting in a Tampa 2 there. Now, how do you stop under center runs in this game? Well, it always does help to have like a 4-4 in your playbook, but in the scenario that you don't, 4-3 is pretty good. But most importantly, it's not always about the set. You want to have a good cover 3 where you're kind of in a condensed defensive set, meaning that you have a very heavy box, around 7 to 8 players in the box. Now, 4-4 is going to do that for me. So I like the 4-4 cover 3 here, and I'm going to show you all the setup that I do to stop the halfback stretches and any kind of heavy run sets. So we're in the 4-4. We're going to call cover 3, but also keep in mind, too, that it's not a bad idea if your set allows you. Now, I don't have the cover 2 shell in this 4-4, but if you're in a 4-3 or a 3-4 and you can shell into a cover 2, that actually will play the runs better if you're in a cover 3 with a cover 2 shell. So we're just going to call stop cover 3 here, and we're going to call that same play out of the wing pair halfback stretch. So as you can see right now, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys right here in the box, right? So that's good, right? We need some bodies in the box. Now, what are some things that we can do that will make our run defense better? Well, hard flats play runs, especially outside runs, a lot better than any kind of zone. So to put these guys in hard flats, this guy's in a curl flat and this guy's in a curl flat, let's press Y and down on the right stick, and let's put them in hard flats. They'll play the sidelines more aggressively, and they'll be able to flow to these outside runs a lot better. Now, I also like to spread my linebackers, which is right on the D-pad and up on the left stick. I already kind of manually shifted these guys outside, so that's why you didn't see them move, but I'll show you what it looks like on the next play. I also like to pinch my defensive line, left on the D-pad, down on the left stick, and this is up to you too. Considering how my guys are all kind of slanting to the right, I want to just make sure I take away that cutback lane. So I'm going to also slant inside, which is left on the D-pad, down on the right stick, and it should look something like this. So you should be able to take back a lot of the cutback lanes, and it's up to you as the user to kind of set the edge. Now, like I said, I already spread my linebackers. Now, I know this looks weird, right? You have 3 blockers on the right side and no one in front of them. So you're going to be asking yourself right now, this is stupid. You're not aligned good, well at all. You're not gap sound. Well, a lot of the times in this game, when you user a safety and you start about 10 to 12 yards back, those guys on the right side are not going to pick you up, because if you look here, if you press the left trigger and I do this, look at who's getting blocked up. My safety that I'm using is not going to be seen by the offensive line, meaning that I'm going to have a free hat coming in to make a play on the running back. So it's always important to user, even if you want to use a linebacker per se. Like, let's watch this right here. So obviously Jefferson right here, the left guard is manned up on him, or not manned up, but that's his block, the guy he's blocking, right? But watch what happens when I move him back just a little bit to about 10 yards. No longer being blocked. So you always want to user someone and move them back a little bit so they're not being seen by the offensive line. So I'm going to move Jefferson back up because I'm going to user the safety here. Now let's try to stop this run. It's stretch. I'm going to go ahead. I have 2 controllers, so hopefully I can do this. Look at that. So even if in a scenario where you get 3 guys on the offensive line that get free, you actually get some pretty good block sheds on the defensive line because those guys are not getting chipped. And on top of that, if you get some guys with high play recognition, they're going to be able to flow to the ball really well. And that's just a hard block. Like if you look at the blocks again, let's actually set this up. Pinch, slant inside, spread linebackers, boom. So this is what our look looks like. So as you can see here, look at some of the blocks that the center and the right guard have to make. We already have the leverage on them to play something that might come outside. So what's a tough block for these offensive linemen to make? So let's try to run this again. Boom. And just like that, you could use a safety and fill those holes accordingly. Pause. And it's just really good run defense. You know, it's always important to be able to use a safety. So like we did normally, we pinch our D-line, slant them inside, spread linebackers, hard flats. This is the look you typically want to have when you're playing against someone that's running a heavy outside run play out of a heavy set. And then you just use a safety about 10 yards back so he's not seen by the offensive line and come down and fill the lane. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get some good sheds too, because those guys, like you have a safety coming in free, and it's going to mess with the blocking philosophy of the offensive linemen and the tight ends. So let's just do it one more time. Spread linebackers, user a safety, flow to the ball. You see what I'm saying? Like it's something with the game that I can't really explain to y'all. When you bring your safety down into a run fit, it just triggers better sheds out of the defensive line. That's just something I've noticed. Now, keep in mind too, you're using a safety in a middle third. So if you call, or if they call something like a play action pass here, I'll show you what you do. So let's do our normal setup. Let's pinch our D-line, slant inside, hard flats, spread linebackers. This is how you always want to play I formation or any kind of single back set. And then if you notice that it's pass, I'll hike the ball here. It's an instant switch stick down. You saw how I switched from my safety to the linebacker there. I mean, you can stay on the safety and play the pass if you want to, but just keep in mind you're very vulnerable to getting beat over top if you come down to play a pass with your safety, right? So let's do this again. Pinch D-line, hard flat, spread linebackers, call the play. It's play action, switch stick down to the linebacker. Now, how do you switch stick? I know I talked about it a little bit in my last video. You switch stick after the ball is snapped, and you can switch stick by pressing the right stick or flicking it in the direction of the next defender you want to use her, which for me, I'm just flicking the right stick down. So I'll just show y'all here. Flick the right stick down, boom, I'm on a different guy. Flick the right stick to the left, boom, I'm on this guy over here. And that's how you really get good at taking away the play action passes if you realize that they're trying to catch you off guard and throwing a pass rather than running the outside stretch or any kind of wide zone because you've been absolutely blowing it up with your user. And this really goes for, I'll show you two out of shotgun. Let's pick a shotgun run play here. We'll call inside zone here. Now, for shotgun runs, you can actually stay in your base defensive set, which in this case for me, I like to run the 3-3 mint, and I like to put a fast safety at the linebacker spot. Now, you can call almost any kind of zone here if you want. So for inside zones or any kind of like running back or shotgun sets, I like to still pinch my defensive line. I like to put hard flats on the field. This is if I know for sure they're running two. Watch my user. Watch where I usually set him. I put him on the side of the running back, and what you're going to see me do is kind of loop right here and take away the run. Now I'll move my guy back, and let's also look at the blocking assignments for the offensive line. As you can see, no one is blocking my user. I have a free guy coming in, and as long as I start back here when the ball is snapped, I should be able to come in free. So I'm going to hike the ball here, and then we're going to try to play this run. Watch what I do with my user, though. I start on the running back side, and boom. I come in like that because no one sees me. No one on the offensive line sees me, so I'm able to stop runs very, very well by doing that. We'll do it again. So I start on the side of the running back, about 10 yards back so the offensive line doesn't see me. Boom. So that's really the best way that I can explain to someone if you're struggling to stop the run. Just remember those things. We'll try to do the cover 3 out of the 4-4 again and try to stop any kind of under center run. We'll go to, let's say, halfback or I form wing, strong stretch, and then we're going to do the setup here where we pinch our line, slant inside, hard flats, spread linebackers, and then I use the safety here. So you can do this really, really quickly too. And then as long as we start back, we should be able to come in and make a play, or we're going to trigger a really good block shed because for some reason when you bring your safety down, your defensive lineman gets better sheds. I really hope you guys were able to get something out of this video. If you could, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you're really trying to improve at your game. I like to help people out the best of my ability. I'm not a pro player. I'm not top 10 on the leaderboards or anything like that, but I do feel like I am a pretty, I'm a decent player who understands how to do things. It just really comes down to your user as well. So as long as you can get your user right and you can learn a little bit of the switch stick, you're going to have a good defense regardless if you're playing this game 8 hours a day or an hour a day. Just focus on your user. Make sure that you understand the mechanic of starting back about 10 to 12 yards from the line of scrimmage so the offensive line doesn't see you. And then you should be good to go. Now, keep in mind too, sometimes you're still going to give up, 10-yard runs, 15-yard runs. I can't give y'all a defense that's just an automatic run stopper. Sometimes in this game, outside runs are extremely, extremely hard to stop. So do not be discouraged if for some reason you're still struggling on stopping the run. I promise you, as long as you stay true to the scheme and the setup, eventually you're going to find ways to start stopping the run. You got to get a feel for it. You got to practice it. Go in practice mode. Practice the adjustments I made so you can do it quickly. That way you're not caught off guard if they quick hike you. Anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. This will hopefully at least give you a better mindset of how to stop the run, and it'll take a little bit of practice before you really start to hone it in. As always, guys, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.